Hello, everyone. Welcome to Create a Flow Live. My name is Elisha Jacobs. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're viewing this on the replay, thank you so much for coming back to the replay tonight. I am super excited, as always, to be doing these live sessions. But before we get into it, here's some housekeeping. So, what I want you to do, I want you to like this video, whether you're on the replay or you're live. Please like. I appreciate you. Share it with another creative or business owner or even your bestie. And also leave a comment. Let me know how your productivity journey is going because around here, it's all about finding your flow, creating your flow so that you can be productive, you can get more done during the course of the day, and also you still have time to enjoy work outside of your creative work, outside of business and all the things. I'm super excited to be doing tonight's episode of Creative Flow Live. If you're a part of my newsletter, in these past couple weeks, I've been sharing a lot. I have been really enjoying not only the lives on YouTube, but also providing more in depth tutorials for those who are on the channel. And I go more in depth inside of my newsletter, as well as I've recently launched a podcast, which you get a little more of my um unfiltered thoughts, so to speak. And I'm super excited for tomorrow's episode because tomorrow's episode is quite funny. But I'm super excited to be doing these type of content. This is a stretch for me, um in terms of content, in terms of like really creating that ecosystem around the things that I love. I am a techie by heart, not only by profession, but also it's a passion, it's a love, it's a gift, and all the things. And so tonight we are going to use a tool that is very much underrated. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this particular app. It exists on every Apple device, but I don't think a lot of people know how to use it. And so tonight we are going to be looking, or I'm going to do a walkthrough with you on how you can effectively use Apple Freeform. I know they launched this I think it's over a year ago, or it might be nearly coming into 2 years now that that app is available. But a lot of people are not using it. More specifically, not a lot of content creators know that they can use it. Um, I have been looking for a canvas or a whiteboard that gives me the ability to not only work on a phone, not only work on my iPad, but also I can use it on either my MacBook Pro or my Mac Mini. And so there are a ton of different apps, whiteboard apps. They're in their app whiteboards integrated into other apps like Zoom have their whiteboard. But wait a minute. The other additional app that Apple has is the best in terms of their productivity, and they have their own ecosystem. And I'm like, what is that one canvas or where you can have your mood board, you can create all the things that you want to create and create a creative hub, and it's accessible on every device. And so Apple Freeform has been staring me in the face, and I have never actually used it to its full capabilities. And this is the same thing for a lot of business owners, like, and even create content creators. They're not leveraging Apple Freeform. And did I mention that it is free? It is free. Once you have an Apple ID, it's free and it's connected to your iCloud. So whatever you start on different devices, you're able to pull it together. So tonight I'm going to do a full walkthrough of Apple Freeform, and I'm going to give you some real use case scenarios on how you can use it. But tonight, I want to show you, you guys are going to get a sneak peek, those who are on the live, or if you come back and view this on the replay, you guys are going to see a sneak peek of my upcoming podcast episode that drops tomorrow morning. But I'm going to show you like what is my process of how I take an idea or a thought and how I put it into concept and how I actually get it into publication. Now, there's some steps along the way I will skip because there are a ton of other things on the back end that I do, like the editing software which is done on the computer. I do have a checklist. If I have that specific task to edit the episode of itself, there is a whole list that I go through and I have to have it listed. So that is like my checklist in order to get a specific episode out. And as I'm constantly keep publishing new content and as I put out new episodes, what started as 10 steps is slowly and gradually coming down with less steps. All right. So let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. I know there might be a delay, but if please ask your questions. One of the things I do uh take into consideration with these sessions is that you can ask your questions if and it's free. Right? So we're gonna get into freeform and I'm gonna take you through how you can start using freeform, how you can set it up and all the things. So I'm gonna switch over to my iPad. um in order for you to be effective with freeform, depending on what you're doing and what you're building out in freeform is dependent on your device. If you're going to use your iPad, you will definitely need to have an Apple Pencil. Depending on what you're using Apple Freeform for, I would let you know if it's better to do it on the iPad, if it's better to do it on your MacBook, because sometimes moving certain objects around could be a bit tedious and it could also be frustrating. So I'm going to be using Apple Freeform. I'm going to be also use, I'm going to show you some organization. I'm going to share some organization tips for your iCloud, as well as I'm going to be using the YouTube app. So I'm going to be pulling from different apps and we're going to be using the split view in order to do so. So let's get into it. All right. So welcome to Apple Freeform, the app that a lot of us do not even pay attention to. But when you go into the Freeform app, on the left-hand side, you have your organizational scheme, which is your all the boards that you create, your recent boards, your shared boards, your favorite boards, and your recently deleted boards. On the right hand side, you have the option to actually create a new board. You can change the view if you want to see it as an icon or if you want to see it as a list. You could sort by date and name. That's if you're constantly creating a whole set of boards. And you can also select multiple boards. Now, here was the beautiful thing about Freeform that I like is that it does give you the option to collaborate. And that's a big thing, especially as creatives. If you're going to use freeform for, let's say, doing design concepts, and you may have a team and you may want that team to collaborate on those different concepts that you're putting on the board, they do give you the option to allow collaboration with your different boards. So I know a lot of people love Milanote, and I am a Milanote fan, but this is also a free option that is available to you inside of the Apple ecosystem that you can use. Most of these paid subscriptions to other design and canvases And whiteboards, they will give you a certain limit as to how much you can create on it for free. But then again, when you see you start exceeding a certain limit, you definitely have to pay for a subscription. So why not use what is already available to you, and there is no limit to it, and it's accessible across all devices, right? So, for tonight's exercise, I started to create a little board. And I've called it the Creative Flow Hub. And so I'm going to like demonstrate to you how you can actually get this done. Now, the four areas that you're seeing on the board, which is research, planning, production, and publication. I did this on the computer because, again, the flow charting and the pencil, because the pencil is active and you see that little pencil icon to the top, it actually activates the minute I touch the screen. So I'm not, I don't want to be frustrated. So I just did the actual shapes and put in the names on the computer. But I'm going to show you how you can get it done on your iPad as well. Right? So once you open a brand new board, to the top right, you usually see the option saying untitled, but you can simply tap on the down arrow and you can rename it. You can add it as a favorite. You can set up your alignment. So the alignment settings is if you want to snap to grid with your shapes, you want to have center guides, edge guides, you can do so as well, especially if you're going to be exporting this. You have your match results. As you know, with the new iPad OS 18 or the entire Apple ecosystem, which I think 18, the version 18, it does give you the option to do math problems through the AI. And you can also insert results or suggested results. You can either turn that off as well. And then you have the option to export this PDF. So let's say, for example, the first use case scenario I would use with this, because I am a systems and automations person, I would like do workflows, like automated workflows. I would script it out in here, and then I would share this to my client so they can have a visual of what that automated workflow would actually look like. So if it's a case where somebody pays the invoice, what actually happens after they pay the invoice, what actually happens when they receive an email, and I would literally do that entire workflow so they can visually see it, and then I can send it as a PDF so they can see it as well. So I'm glad that they do give you the option to do it as a PDF, and also you can print your canvas. Now, this canvas is pretty extensive if you notice as I'm swiping out. As you continue, though you see the edges here, but as you continue to add, you get more of the canvas to work with. All right. So this is just at the view that it's showing here, but as you continue to build in the canvas, you can go on and on and on and on. All right. So so that is your menu option to the top left. In the center of the app, you have your tools bar. So this gives you the option to turn off and put on your pencil, or the pencil if you're using your iPad. Now, once you turn this on, to the bottom left, you're going to see that the pencil options are appearing. You can switch between which tool you want to use, if it's your ruler, um, and you could turn it off, or you can switch between your writing tools if you're going to use highlighters and so forth, and you can switch out your colors. Or it also gives you the option to auto minimize. You could draw with finger, and you can also look at your pencil settings. Now, I would recommend, if you're a heavy user of your iPad, I would recommend you getting one of the main essential accessories for your iPad, which is a paper like feel protector. So it will actually, when you're actually writing or you're doing any scripting or drawing on the iPad, it actually feels like you're actually writing on paper, right? Right. So that is your the pencil tool or the pen tool. Then we have the option here. The second icon from the left is your sticky notes. This allows you to add sticky notes. In this case, the use case scenario for this, I would definitely use this if I were to create a checklist. And notice it does give me the option to either double tap to enter text. And because I have the magic keyboard for the iPad, this is easy for me, so I can type stuff very easily. And so if I want to have my checklist of the things that I need to do to get an idea from my head to publication to my audience, I'm going to write out everything that I need to do, whether it's to record it, whether it's to edit it, whether it's to get the transcript, whatever that looks like, I'm going to list it out here. Right? So this would be the use case scenario for the sticky notes. And again, depending on how you are setting up your board, the use case scenarios for your sticky notes will apply. All right. I'm gonna leave this here for later. Right. The next button is your shapes button, and this gives you a ton of different shapes. You have from your basics to geometry, objects, animals, nature, and the list goes on. So they are quite extensive. Now, just because you see them in blue doesn't mean that it will stay blue. Apple is not that rigid. All right. So they do give you the option to change the color. Right. So because again with these shapes I will have to either use my fingers to tap and drag or the pencil. So in this case I would simply tap with my finger, and once you tap on a shape again, it gives you the option to actually change the color. So you can change your color, you can add words to it, you can duplicate it, you can delete. And if you press the three dots, it gives you other options where you can cut, copy, duplicate, lock, and so forth. You can also change the shape if you don't like it. All right. You can also there's so many other options. So there is a lot of flexibility with creating. This is great for canvassing and work. If you create workflows or you're a person that create workflows, right? Also, so there those are your shapes. You also have the option to add text. So you can bring this out bigger and you can just simply double tap, and it does give you the option to change the color of the text. You can also bold, italic, underline. You can change the font. It does give you the option to change the font based on the fonts that you have installed on your device, right? You also have those three dots where there's more additional functionality with that as well. All right. Now the last tool there is your I would say all the other things that you can insert on a canvas, whether it's a photo or a video. The Apple Intelligence is also there. So you can do your image playground. You can you can take photos with your camera, stickers, you can scan a document, you can also insert a link, and you can also insert from your files. So I'm going to be working with some of these tools tonight. To the top right, you have your undo button. This gives you the option to share or collaborate. So once you tap on that, it does give you the option to either collaborate or send a copy. You also have other options, and you could either send it to notes, you can share it with Zoom, Gmail, Notability, Pinterest, Good Notes, and the list goes on. So you do have that option for collaboration and sending a copy out to another user or somebody on your team or so forth. Again, the top right here does give you the option to create a new canvas. To the bottom right, ooh, let me know. Let me see what's going on. Brew. I think my iPad went to timeout just now. One moment. Come back, come back, come back. All right. Are you in? All right. Let me shut my iPad off. We are not doing this today. Okay. Mm, okay. Let me see. Mm, okay. There we go. All right. So technical difficulties. All right. So to the bottom right, we do have the option to turn off and turn on your grid lines. If you are that person who can write in a straight line, that's okay. I'm not one of those people. So I do turn on my grids. So it helps me if I'm going to actually do any writing. And also you have this button which is called connectors on, where you can actually link. If you notice with this shape, I can literally link it to something else. And even if I move that shape, notice the connector still stays there. All right. Again, if your workflow, you create a lot of workflows, visual workflows for your clients, this app has it all. Again, it's just about be getting familiar with the tools and making it easy for you to use. All right. So I can delete it if I turn it off. So I just turn it on or turn it off. It will tell you that it's on or off. To the left, you have your zoom in area where you can zoom to fit the entire um, canvas, or you can zoom in more. You also have this here, which is like a table of contents where you can create what is called scenes. So you can have different scenes that goes to different areas, because if you are building out a really big canvas, you may want to keep track of even having to scroll this way or scroll down that way or slide this way. You can create scenes for just different areas of your board, right? And you also have the option to either turn it off or turn it on if you're not going to use it. All right. So when I was designing this creative hub board, I was thinking, okay, let me show you guys how I'm able to not only stay consistent with content, but this is like how, in my mind, visually, how I would actually prepare to put out a piece of content. In this case, I'm going to use my podcast as an example. All right. So first things first, like all content creators, um we do a lot of research. We could be either looking for ideas, we could all be looking for inspiration from different places. And so if you want to create a hub specifically for content inspiration, you can do so. Now, in this case, if I were to do something like this is what I would do. To the top center of my iPad screen where I have these three dots, I'm going to actually split my view. So if I split my view and I go into Safari, if you're on Pinterest and you're looking for ideas, let's say, for example, I'm that girl that likes nails, or I'm creative in terms of lifestyle, I'm looking for different concepts, I would either go to Pinterest, and if there's a specific aesthetic that I may like, that fits the tone of my brand and my business and so forth, or for the type of content that I'm looking for, I would just simply tap, hold. Ooh, come on. Okay, that's it. All right. So if let's say, let me look. Right. So let me use this one as an example. So what I would simply do, I would tap and hold. Sometimes this can be a bit tricky, and I can drop it right in here. And notice it comes in to the canvas board. So that's one way of dragging and dropping with your split views. So you can take something from somewhere else, and this could be like inspiration, because I'm that type of girly girl. I like this type of, this might be my aesthetic. So if you're that person that builds a lot of mood boards and you're pulling inspiration from different sources, different sites, different looks, and so forth, this is a great way in which you can actually use Apple Freeform. All right. Now, the other thing I would do, because I have my podcast, I may want to have a reminder of this specific the my last podcast episode. So what I can do, I can simply tap and hold and drag this over in here as well, and it's going to insert that entire episode. Now if I export this board, what is going to actually happen is that it's going to have, either if it's a YouTube video, it's going to show the play button. If it's in this case, seeing that it's in this episode and it's on my Substack app, it's going to just be a hyperlink. So if you tap on it through the PDF, it will take you directly to that page. So that's one ways you can few ways that you can actually bring in your ideas and so forth. If I were to use YouTube, let me switch back to freeform, split my view. All right. And I may be going through a piece of video content and I may like a concept from the video, or I may just want to have a whole board with referencing all the content that I've created in the last month or so. You can create your boards however you like. You can simply tap and hold and you can drag that into, let me bring that back. Okay, so this was one of the episodes that I did. And right. And it's bringing me to, why are you bringing me to? All right, so I can simply click drag and usually it works. But I think because I'm sharing it on Ecamm, through Ecamm, it's bringing two of them. But what I can do, I can either click tap on share, and then I can click this icon to the top, copy link. Click this icon to the top here, choose link, and I can paste my link and tap on insert. Right? And this is another way you can bring in, because I'm sharing through Ecamm, it's not allowing me to do the drag and drop feature. So this is another way in which I can bring in my links. So if I'm doing research, because we're always doing research, we need this is an easy way to one, keep your thoughts organized and your concepts organized on all the things. All right. So that's how you would use your side view, and also bringing in links and other things. Now, because I already planned in my Notion content flow planner the podcast that I was going to be releasing tomorrow, I already created a script. I've already recorded the video, not the video, the actual episode. So if I wanted to put that information on this board, um to like take me through that production or take me through the steps of getting it to publication, I'm going to tap on this button here and I'm going to bring in two sets of documents. The first one would be the script or the outline that I used while I was recording the episode. So I'm going to tap on insert from, and I am going to go into iCloud Drive. I'm going to go to, I have a specified folder called content planning. And then I'm going to go into scripts and I'm going to choose the podcast episode 6 outline and I'm going to bring it in here. Now, again, this is super helpful, especially if you have teams or if you are thinking to bring on an editor or you're thinking to bring on a VA and you need somebody to collaborate with. Instead of people asking you for, oh, can I have the script? Can I have the transcript? Can I have this, that, and the third? You can bring all your stuff in here as well. What I'm going to do, so I have the outline. This is the outline that I use to record the actual podcast episode. I'm also going to include a transcript in here as well. All right, so I can include that as well. I mean, you can make this small or big depending how it is. And again, if you export this canvas, it definitely will be linked. Right? So I may have these two. I may also want to say, okay, I need to see what the actual graphic for my podcast is. So I will definitely go in to my photos and I will pull the podcast graphic and I will bring it in here as well. Right? And if I want to, let me work my fingers really quickly. um if I want to really share that actual final edit of the actual episode, I can do so. I'm going to pull up the Freeform. I'm going to pull it up on my computer so I can do the drag and drop from my external drive. All right, and I'm going to literally put that down into here. Right, might take a while to sync over. Right, and so mm, where is it? Okay, perfect. So notice that it's coming in here, and if I scroll right in, this episode is here, and I can listen to it through preview or through the board here. All right, so this is what the final episode, the actual audio recording is, and I just dragged this from my external hard drive onto the board on my Mac OS. All right, so notice that um there is synchronization because it's one ecosystem, which is the Apple ecosystem, and you're able to do, you could be on several devices doing just adding to that canvas or that board. All right. Now, what I usually do, once I have my outline and I've recorded the episode, I have a total yap session. And because I'm looking at the podcast episodes of my unfiltered yap sessions, the next thing I need to do is one, record it. The next thing, organize it in onto my external drive, and then it goes into editing. So for the production part of it, I have a checklist. So this is where I would actually take this nice little ooh, what do you call sticky pad, and I would actually create my checklist from this. All right, so I can double tap and it brings up that nice little keyboard, and I can call this my checklist. Right, and just to save time, let me pull from another board. A typical example, this is a working copy Right? So I'm gonna tap on hold. I'm gonna hit on paste. Thank God for the copy and paste. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But tonight it's working. So that's good. Right? Right. So this might be my actual checklist to get that episode from from the actual outline to recording it and then to editing it. And most of the time is spent on editing. Now, once I've edited it, I've done all the fanciness, I've put in my intro, my outro, and all the things. The next thing I do, I can either use AI to take the transcript and pull out maybe 6 or 10 aha moments, and I will use those aha moments to promote the podcast onto social media, or it will help me to craft better show notes, create better emails to drive traffic to my podcast. So that's basically like the flow that have currently. All right, so if you're using Chat GPT, you're using Gemini, you're using what's the other ones they have out there, Claude, and all the other ones that are available, and you know how to do proper prompts. I'm still learning how to do proper prompts in Chat GPT, but you can take your words that you have spoken, and the good thing about Apple too, you can actually embed that same. I could take this, and I wish they would put it in here, but I guess that will come soon. But I know in the notes, you can actually take an audio and put it into Apple Notes, and it is going to do the transcription for you if you don't have a transcription software or an editor or so forth. So that's a little pro tip. All right. So once I get my transcript, I take the transcript, I put it into the AI, and I ask it to pull out the aha moments. And from that, it's going to allow me to generate either moments, highlighted moments for the episode for me to actually put onto social media. Right. So I have the episode. This is going to go out on. So, oh, change this out. Oh, I'm that type of person that takes a minute to actually get my pens and colors correctly. It takes me a while, but if you find that when you're writing this is too fine, um you can increase the size. Mm, So every tool does give you the option to have more options. So if I long press or I tap, I can increase the size of the eraser, or it can be an object eraser. The same thing goes for the pen. Well, this in this case is the marker. I can increase the size of the marker, and I can make the opacity of that color either lighter or darker, right? So in this case, I like more heavier. So I know that this episode is going to be on Apple Podcasts, right? It's going to be on Spotify, and it's also going to be on, what's the other one? Oh, the main um the main platform that I'm hosting, which is Substack. All right. So those are, again, I am not a person that writes on the line. So this is me just scribbling. Right. So I know it's going to be there. And okay, I may say, okay, there's some aha moments. So may want to have some highlighted moments. And because I did the recording, I may know those moments. I may have the timestamp for it. So I would try to extract that from the actual transcript, right? So I think if you just tap, you can notice a little eye appears there. You can tap on the eye, and it will actually open it up for you, and you can literally pull in from your notes from the transcript. So In this case, I will may just want the first few lines. And again, you guys are getting a preview. All right. I can simply tap on copy and I may say, okay, I want one of the highlighted moments to be double tap to enter, tap and hold. All right. I'm going to make this a little bigger because it is way too fine. Right. So I'm going to go to style. Right. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. So I'm going to increase the size to about 24. Right. So this might be an aha moment. I'm going to italicize it because maybe this is a highlighted moment in that episode. And so, like, while I'm recording or while I'm editing, I may want to take note of this highlighted moment, or I may say something on the podcast and be like, this is gold. I can actually have my iPad next to me and I can actually write that highlighted moment as well, just so I don't forget it. All right. Or while I'm editing, just take note of the timestamp or so forth. Right. The other thing is that I create my graphics using Canva. Everybody uses Canva now. So through production as well, I may have already I created the social already. So if you're following me on Instagram, you will see this at some point. Right. So this is actually a video, but this is uh one of my assets for promoting the podcast on social. So it's five aha moments or highlighted moments from that episode that I'm literally going to be sharing with my social community so they can actually go in and read it. And if I want to play, I can simply tap on the eye and it's literally going to play in there for me. All right. Right. So again, you can be as super creative and very aesthetically pleasing with with Apple Freeform. Again, I really don't use this because I have other systems that I use. But if you're a person that needs to see stuff visually and you need to have that spread and that layout and you've been looking for a whiteboard app but you don't want to pay for the subscription because they have a lot of them out there that are heavy in subscription, you can use Apple Freeform to do this, and it's free. It integrates with every other device in the Apple ecosystem, and you can collaborate and share this out with your other those who you collaborate with, those who you plan with, and you keep everything in here. People can come in here and they can give their feedback. So if I'm collaborating with one or two other persons, if there's a concept I'm putting together for a shoot or something, they can comment right directly on the board. They can make changes, they can add to it, they can add their own ideas on all of it. So I like the flexibility that it gives for collaboration because that's one of the main things for us as creatives. We always looking for tools that will give us that flexibility to collaborate. Some of them are a bit rigid, and if you want that extra collaboration, you either have to go through a third party and all the things. So that is how I would use it more or less. And just to give you ideas of how you can actually do it. There are a few other things that I want to share with you with regards to Apple Freeform. Is that the first thing is that for any use case scenario is that you can use it for a content pillar mapping. If you have like how I had the research section, the planning section, the production section, and the publication section. if you have content pillars and you want to have a visual of what your content pillars are, you can get super creative with it, and you can have your different sections of your content pillars. The other thing I would use Apple Freeform for is if I'm doing my weekly or monthly content planning and I want to lay out my posts. Now for video, it is a bit tricky, but if you're doing like the carousel posts and so forth, this is a great way for you to actually lay it out. If you're planning a launch for an upcoming product or service, this would be great for you to actually do that planning session inside of Apple uh, or Freeform. All right. The other use case scenario I would use with Apple Freeform is that you can create your capture board. So if you're a person that has sticky notes here, you have your notes up, you're saving links and all the different things in different spaces, this is a great app for you to actually create a board specifically for inspiration and for you to capture those ideas. So whether you can drag in a link or copy a link, or you have video inspirations from social, again, Freeform is available on the iPhone. It's not only for the iPad only, and it's also available for Mac OS. You can pull your inspirations on from any device, from anywhere, and have it in a central hub or location. So no more scattered ideas, no more trying to figure out you had an idea last week, but you can't remember where you put the link or where you got the inspiration or a color palette from. You can use Apple, the freeform uh app too. The other thing I would do, if you are repurposing, I know these are just like different ways that you could use freeform. So for repurposing strategy, you can map out how one idea becomes a social post. So in for example, I showed you, okay, I created a podcast, but I can also take the actual transcript with the help of AI, and I can actually get the highlighted moments and create a social post from it. So that's a great way. And I will also add and say that if you're using Freeform, think of it as a system that you're actually developing. You're not going to get it perfect the first time around, but as you're constantly improving on your workflows and you're improving on how you capture your ideas, how you organize your ideas, think of it as a new system that you're creating. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing, but you get the rough layout of it, and then you build on that. This is applicable to any tool that you are using, right? Because I know some of our creators can get super deep with it. All right, no shade. All right, so and the last one I would say you can use. Okay, you can use Freeform if you have sponsorship or brand collabs, and you may need to have develop a concept for a piece of content, and you want to have that specialized location where you want to share it with someone, or you just want to lay it out nicely. Freeform can allow you to do so, because I know especially with creators who do sponsorships and do brand sponsorships and all those things, you will have to maybe in the contract deliver concepts and so forth, and also the actual deliverable of the item. This is an easy way to actually deliver your concepts and also the final product in a very aesthetic way that is branded too. And you can just keep it flowing, and you can create multiple different boards. So freeform is not just about it's not just about doing drawings, because I think when it first launched, people didn't really understand, or a lot of users did not understand the use case scenario of freeform. But there are a ton of things that you can do with it, and it just opens your the flexibility with your various devices of how creative you can be with it. All right. So let me know in the chat if you're gonna try out Freeform. If you are within the Apple ecosystem, let me know if you're gonna try this out. I'm excited to see what some of you may create inside of Apple Freeform. If you do create anything, you can follow me on Instagram and tag me and let me know. Let me see what you create inside of Freeform. I'm going to be using it now for like doing concepts and like pulling different concepts together. It's going to be handy. I think this is really good because I usually do it inside of Good Notes. So having Freeform there is going to be super, super um helpful for me. But yeah, that is it for Creative Flow. Again, this is another tool that is free for the free 99 that is available to us. A lot of us don't use it. A lot of us don't utilize it in the way that it needs to be utilized, especially as creatives. So please try it out. You don't have to pay for another subscription, and it's another tool inside of your tool belt for simplifying your workflows and making your creative work much more easier. All right. Now, if you want my entire system and how I plan, organize, and create content consistently without being burnt out, create the Creator Flow Kit is available. The link is in the description and it is on sale actually. There's a special going on. So do get your kit. All the details, the link will be in the description. You're going to get templates from in Notion. You're going to get some bonuses that I've also added in there. You're going to get email and workflow templates, my 3-step automation guide. So we are not hustling and grinding 24/7. We did not start our business to hustle and grind 24/7. True freedom of entrepreneurship is being able to have flexibility, to be creative, innovative, and also live life and not let our business run us, but we are actually running our business. So if you want the full details of how you can grab your Creator Flow kit, the link is in the description. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning into tonight's Creative Flow Live. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys back in the next live session. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try out Apple Freeform, and if you do design your boards, tag me on Instagram at Elisha Jacobs Official, and I will definitely be happy to see what you create. So have a blessed remainder of the week, and I'll see you guys in our next live. Bye.